Hey everyone, today we're back with another video about the hero classes. So Hollgrehen is just around the corner. It has recently been released in CBT, so a lot of people have been trying it out. So to keep up with tradition, this video is about discussing the core hero skill of Hollgrehen, which is ironically named the #1 blacksmith in the land. Um, just a couple of heads up. This is all based on CBT data, nothing final yet. Anything I will be discussing today may be changed in the future. Also, everything I'll be discussing today is based on my in-game experience and understanding of the in-game codes. Before we proceed, thanks a lot to Team Leaks for extracting the data and helping the community overall in interpreting how the game works in and out. So a brief intro about Hollgrehen. The way the developers introduce Hollgrehen is that he's gonna be a tank/support type of hero. He has skills that can deal massive damage, but as a whole, he's regarded as a tank/support hero. Just like other hero classes, he has one central skill, which is their core hero skill, wherein the entirety of their identity, for a lack of better term, revolves around. Likewise, he has a couple of attack and passive and buff skills that helps augment his capabilities. But just like other hero skills, these skills are limited. It's not as numerous as the classic jobs. And yeah, so let's dive into it then. So Hollgren's core hero passive is called the #1 blacksmith in the land. It goes up to level 7, just like what you know based on Thanatos, Hela, Nidhogg, and the other heroes. The way you level this up is by unlocking the second line of your S and star runes. So you can already expect this will be an uphill battle. There's 7 skills, and it will start off with the base effect. At level 4, it gains an additional effect, and then at level 7, it gains an additional effect. Now, level 1 to 3, the effect is, every time Hollgrehen uses Hammer of Destruction, Focus Mode, or Craftsman's Heart, there is a 30% plus skill level multiplied by 10% chance to increase the refining level of one of the following. So it's random. It's weapon, offhand, armor, garments, footgear, and any of those 2 accessories. Starting level 4, Hollgrehen gets another ability apart from that, wherein if his armor, garment, footgear, and offhand, so all these 4, reaches plus 12 or above, the enemy's Ignore Def and Ignore MDef will no longer be included when calculating defense or magic defense. So, big deal, actually. I'll go there in a bit. At level 7, which, really be a little bit difficult to get at, but if you do manage to unlock level 7, Hollgren's weapon and both accessories, when they reach plus 17 or above, your refined attack will be multiplied by attack percentage. Now, I know you may have some questions about this part. I'm gonna get there in a bit. Okay, let's talk about level 1 to 3 first, or let's talk about the base effect of the skill. So again, every time he uses any of these 3 skills, which is Hammer of Destruction, Focus Mode, Craftsman's Heart, there's a 30% plus skill level multiplied by 10% chance to increase the refining level of your weapon, offhand, armor, garment, basically everything aside from the headgears, like the headgears and the back and the tail. You can see the code on the right side. You see here 137200, right? So it picks any of these buffs randomly. So basically 137201, it picks one of them at every instance. And as you can see, the refine level only goes up to 1. At level 7, you're gonna have 100% to trigger any one of these. Whatever that is, whatever that trigger is, not so sure. Of course, it's gonna be random, right? Now, the really nice thing about this is that the refine upgrade is based on the slot, not really the item. So it's not like it changes the item data so that it has plus 16 or plus 17. and therefore when you switch, it's gonna reset back to plus 15 or whatever the original refine is. So that's not the case. The refine upgrade is based on the slot, so hot swapping your gears will not remove the refine upgrade. So yeah, pretty decent effect if you ask me. Okay, moving on to level 4. When Hollgren's armor, garment, footgear, and offhand reaches plus 12 or above, Ignore Def and Ignore MDef will not be included in the defense or magic defense calculation against Hollgren. Now if you look at the code here on the right side, you'd see there's a condition wherein all 4 of these positions or equipment slots would have a level of 12 or more. So which basically means once you meet this condition, this buff will be active. Now if you go to Calc Def or Calc MDef reduction formula, you'd see a new line in there that says if this particular buff is active, then Ignore Def is equals to 0. If you look at the MDef version, it's going to be Ignore MDef will be equals to 0. What this basically means is that in terms of computing Def final, which will be used to determine Def reduct or the actual reduction of Def, Ignore Def will become 0. Now, I'm not going to talk about the implications of this, but if you want to learn more about defense reduction, go find my Def 101 vid. That's where we discuss the impact of defense reduction. In a nutshell, depending on how much Def you build up with Hollgrehen, it can easily be around 60 to 70% reduction if this buff kicks in. Now, of course, attacks that does not utilize Ignore Def or Ignore MDef attribute will not be affected. For example, the physical auto attack crit, right? That one doesn't utilize Ignore Def. The Ruthless Slash rune from Nogu, wherein whenever they cast Cart Tornado, defense is equals to 0. That one also doesn't utilize Ignore Def, and therefore it's not affected. Same thing with Twisted Time Bomb, and there are a lot more other skills. Obviously, skills or debuffs wherein it deals HP loss, right? Obviously, also not affected. So a pretty good skill. It can make Hollgrehen really, really tanky, but there will still be attacks that will go through this very ironclad armor. Okay, level 7. Now, tell you honestly, very underwhelming. I'm really sad. I expected kind of more out of the level 7 skill. So basically when Hollgren's weapon and both accessories reaches plus 17 or above, Refine attack will be multiplied by attack percentage or your attack percent. It's very disappointing for 2 reasons. One is, once you reach level 7, you still have to meet a certain activation criteria, which is plus 17. Unlike level 4, it's kind of easy to get all of those to plus 12, right? I mean, if you are probably playing in PvP, you probably have everything at plus 15 already. But for this level 7 skill, you basically need to cast skills until your weapon and both of your accessories reaches plus 17. I know in most cases you probably will always be at plus 17, but the fact of the matter is it's a core hero skill that requires another layer of activation. Second reason why I find this very disappointing is because it only multiplies Refine attack by attack percentage. Now, if you've watched my Refine 101 video and my modifiers or multipliers 101 vid, you do know what Refine attack does, right? So it skips a lot of these, for a lack of better term, poor man's multipliers, right? But at the same time, it also skips the positive side of it, right? Like for example, it skips the size reduction, it skips defense reduction, it skips race reduction. But at the same time, it also doesn't get enhanced by size damage or element damage or race damage. And so it's very underwhelming because, even some of the strongest guys I know in the game, they probably would only have about 3,000, 2,500, 3,000 Refine attack. and then you multiply it by attack percentage, which I don't know, maybe you have 200% or 250%. You mean optimal situation, you multiply 3,000 by 3, right? It's just 9,000, right? And then 9,000 is what's going to be multiplied by the dam change per, gonna get reduced by refined damage reduction, gonna be multiplied by damage increase. All in all, I feel like this really won't change a lot in terms of your damage. Again, don't get me wrong, it's still good, it adds damage, but if you pile up the activation criteria plus with the refined attack only being multiplied by attack percentage, kind of feels a little bit underwhelming. I'm not saying it's bad, but if you compare it with other level 7s, it's just not so. I mean, it's probably somewhere along the bottom portion of the list. Well, yeah, that's it. Well, everyone, thanks for watching today. Hope you learned something new. I'm working on going into deep dives into some of his skills, so you better watch out for it. Thanks, everyone, and you have a nice day.